Hopefully we're there, and welcome everyone. Just got to get all my bits set up. I think I've got my craft desk. Yes, I can swap to that in a minute. Just got to find the chat. I always seem to, I always seem to lose the chat. Oh, I think it's because half of my thing is. Oh, there it is. Lovely. So please do pop a note in the chat if you're watching and joining me. I'd love to know who's there, if anybody. Hopefully we are still live on Facebook, and I have forgotten to bring in my iPad, so I can't actually check. Never mind. Hopefully it's all working, and you should be able to see things on Facebook. I'm a little bit later than I normally would be, just by a minute or so, so apologies for that, because exciting, I don't know if you can see behind me, on the corner of my desk over there. Ooh. If I move right over, there's a big box. Oh, hello, Margaret. Lovely to see you here. Yeah, there's a box on there because my pre-order from the new catalogue has just arrived. So if we get time at the end, I might be able to show you some things from it, but I will definitely be showing some things at my Zoom Craftalong on Thursday morning. If you want to join me there live on Zoom, we can actually talk in person, which is always nice, rather than just go via chat switcher today. And I'll be able to, yes, hello, Margaret, lovely to see you. Yes, I don't have an E on my Carol, correct. Yeah, so I will be showing you some of the stuff from the new catalogue on Thursday morning on my Zoom Craftalong. The Zoom link is available in my emails, if you get my emails. If not, if you go onto the website, craftycarolscards.co.uk, at a moment there, couldn't even remember my own website. And if you go onto the Craftalongs there, the Zoom link is actually there, so you can join me on Zoom there, which is nice. So without further ado, today, so excited by the box arriving, I'm not quite organised, and I left my coffee over there. I might have to go and get it, but yes. So do ask any questions if you've got them. Let me know where you're actually joining me from. It's nice to see you. I'm just thinking that isn't quite straight, but never mind, we'll manage with the desk. I'm just going to swap to my desk. Well, let me show you actually. Let me show you first what we're going to make today. Not quite the same as this one, but very similar. And it's a little box. See, I've personalised it. Ooh, there we go, with a C for me, and just put some nice pretty papers on. These are retired papers actually, but it's a little box for standing your tombow in. And as the tombow gets empty, as you know, it's much better to stand it upright. And I end up sort of balancing it at the end of my desk or something like that. So these little boxes really help. And I got the idea, I've had it from two places actually. The first one was this one, because this is a pin, as you can see, pin for unblocking glue if it gets blocked up and dried up. So a little pin, which is from a French demonstrator who is Julie. I don't know the rest of the name. It's a Julie though, and she's put a link to her blog where she has, you see the picture there, she's got instructions for making a little box to stick tombow in. So that was the first one I got, that from the swap. And then one of our lovely English demonstrators, Liz, actually sent some measurements out for this actual box. So we're going to make these today. I'm going to show you some different ways to make them, because there are several ways to do it, but we'll have a look. So hello, Anne. Yes, all is fine with me, thank you. Yes, I hope everything is well with you as well. Lovely to see you here. I'm just going to swap the screen. So I'll be little and tiny in the corner. I'm still here. But here's the screen, and for some reason it's not quite straight. Oh, is that worse or better? Oh, who knows? And for some reason it's also a bit too close. Let's just move that back a bit. So, oh, I'm not doing very well getting it straight. Here we go. Lovely. Right, there we go. So, yes, here we go. So I've got two different ones today. So I'm going to tell you what you need. I'm going to make them slightly differently from this one, and I'll explain how I made this one as well, because we're going to make it a similar way, but the decoration's a little bit different. So, just put those there for a minute. We'll make this one first, I think, in the white, and then I'll show you in the red. The first thing you need is a nice piece of thick card. So you can either use our basic white thick basic white cardstock. You can either use that, or another tip is when you get packs of our DSP, it all comes with a backing sheet, which has all the details on the back of what the actual DSP is and what colours it is and all of that. But this is nice thick card, so never ever throw these backing sheets away. And you can see from this one, I've actually cut off a bit of this box from here. So this is really nice thick card. Never throw away the backing sheets that come with your DSP. You can use everything for crafting. Oh, I don't know. For some reason, oh dear. The chat is trying to tell me. I don't know what it's trying to tell me. It's trying to go away. It's trying to. Oh dear, everything's going wrong on my computer. Hopefully I'm still there. Hopefully I'm still live with you. Somebody let me know if I still am. Right. If I am, let's hope we can go on. So we first need a strip, which is 11 3/4 inches by 2 inches, or I can't remember 27.5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. I have to write these down, so I actually do have them. That's 27.5 by 5. Okay, and we're going to do some scoring. So that's the next thing. I'll just get I've got bits everywhere. No different. So is that, yeah, that's going to be there, so that's fine. Hopefully you can still hear me and I am still live. I got this very strange message with everything I'm saying coming up on the screen, so I'm not quite sure why that is. Oh, thanks, Anne. I am live. Phew, that's a relief. I don't know what happened there. I've never had that before. Right, so we're going to do some scoring. So on our piece that we've cut, we're going to score first at 1/2 inch. Now, when we do this, on your trimmers, certainly for our lovely Stampin' Up trimmers, you'll see on the right-hand side here, we've actually got the markings as well as this side. If you try and do 1/2 inch that side, you can do it because we've got something here to put it up. It's much more difficult because you've got so much sticking out this way. So if we've got little measurements to start off with, like this 1/2 inch, I'm actually going to start on the right-hand side. So I'm going to move my cutting blade and just score at 1/2 inch. Then I can turn it round to do the other scores. So the 1/2 inch is 1 1/4 centimeters actually. So say something like 1.5 centimeters. Right, so our next score is going to be at 2.5 inches, which is 6.5 centimeters. So we're going to score there as well. And then we're going to go to 4.5 inches or 11.5 centimeters. And finally, I need to pull this out, so hopefully it'll still stay in shot. We're going to go to 6.5 inches. So it's just past the middle of the board here, and that is 16.5 centimeters. So we're going to do that. So we have a piece that's got 4 score lines in it. Now, you can make this just as the lady from France has shown me in this, just as a simple box. And if you do that, then you simply want to, you can make this a little shorter, and you want to do there's a final either cut or score at a further 2.5 inches or 6.5 centimeters. So you get 4 pieces all the same, plus a little bit at the edge to tie it together. But I'm going to put a back on mine, which is why I've got this longer piece. I'll put both sets of measurements in the blog, so you'll be able to pick up whichever one seems to fit with you best. Now, with the one I made first, we made it all from the white card, and then I added the decoration on top. But I actually want more decoration on it. So what I've done is cut out a few pieces of the gorgeous, this is the Nature's Sweetness. Yeah, Nature's Sweetness DSP, and it's beautiful. It's got lots of gold in it, and it's got pecan pie and pebbled path as well on the back, as you can see from the back there, pebbled path and pecan pie, trying to speak. But I'm using this lovely gold side, and I've cut one piece, which is actually slightly too big for this. It doesn't matter, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I want one piece that's big enough to fit on this longer flat bit, and then 2 other bits which are cut to exactly fit on these 2 panels here. So do not stick them all down at the start. We're just going to start with sticking the first 2 panels. So these are 2 inches square or 5 centimeters square. So we are going to use the Tombow on my little holder. And, well, it comes out, there we go. just stick that down. I want to stick the glue all over, particularly on one piece. The other one, it doesn't matter quite so much. I can just go around the edge just for that piece. So for the second square in, if you like, you can just stick it around the edge. For the square at this end, next to your little half tab, you want to, that going the same way so it'll look nice, you have to stick it all over, and that's because we are actually going to make a hole in this piece here, in this end piece, so we want it to be covered. So there's my little tab. I should have folded these first actually. There's my first fold, there's my second, and there's my third, because this piece is going to fold back here like that. Okay, that's how it's going to be put together. So if I want colour up the back, which I do, then I need to make sure I'm sticking this piece onto that side of my card, which is the reverse. So I stick the first two small pieces on the front side of the card, turn it over and stick this piece to the big piece on the back, and then it's the right way round. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on here because I know that piece is bigger than the panel, so I'm going to just put glue on the panel, put it back in my holder, and then I can stick this down on the panel and trim off the excess. So the piece you'll want is approximately, let me measure it, so it's 11 centimetres, which is around 4¼ inches, something like that. Doesn't have to be exact. Lost my snips now. Oh, there you go. Dear heavens, that's my ribbon ones. Never mind, here we go. These are they. So I can just trim off the bit I don't need there. So folds, and my pieces are down here. So the next stage is I've got two things to do. Just make sure that's properly stuck down. First of all, I'm going to use a tag topper, and I'm using here the Elegant Edge one. You can use whatever tag topper you want, or you can simply just use a trimmer to trim it into a shape or something. But I'm going to use this tag topper, so I'm going to just slide it in. Ooh, and stand up to make sure it goes through. Why does that not want to? It is a very thick card, and that could be why. And I've added stuff to it. It doesn't want to do that. Okay. Live crafting is always a problem, isn't it? Let's cut some of it. Let's see what I can rescue from here. Try and ease you out without, there we go. Oh, it has cut through quite a lot, just not over that side for some reason. So I'm just going to trim this bit that's part cut. Oh, this is live crafting going wrong, isn't it? Never mind, it's fine. I'm just trimming around there. There's just one it hasn't cut through, and I'm puzzled as to why it's just one. Never mind. What I'm going to do is just slide it back in again and see if it can. And I've got to line it up now. Now I have got some bits of whatever stuck in there. I wonder if that's why it didn't. Always clean out your punches, folks. I obviously didn't do that. So just bear with me while I try and rescue this a little bit, because I now need to line it up again carefully with the bits that have punched. That's better. Now it's gone through. So obviously what had happened was I didn't actually, it still hasn't punched that hole, interestingly. Okay. Never mind. Okay, so perhaps if you are using very thick card, be careful with your punching. Live crafting, how we go. But you can see from this on our thick basic white, it cuts it beautifully. Right, perhaps my punch is going a bit funny, I don't know. Because it's cut two of the holes perfectly, and I've just got dots there instead of a hole, which is very interesting. Okay. Just going to try that once more. I'm going to stop fiddling because I need to go on and actually show you how we're making the... that's in place, so let's try again. No, it's still not cutting that bit. That's obviously my punch rather than the card. That is very odd. I wonder why my punch isn't working properly. It's got little bits coming through it, but not... okay. Well, there we go. There are other ways to do things. That gives me a chance to show you an alternative. So one of the alternatives is that you can simply, you can't really punch anything with that. I can punch a hole. I'm going to use my handheld punch, and we're going to try just punching a hole where there should be a hole and there isn't. Let's see if that looks any better. We'll see. It's not the same shape of hole, obviously it's just a round hole. But if I use it again a little bit further down, so about there. I'm going to do two little, make it a more of an oval. Still isn't going to be quite the right shape. There, doesn't look quite so bad. And then if we do a separate tiny hole, it's the smallest I've got, isn't it? Yeah. So if we do a separate tiny hole just in there. There. Oh, you can see that. There we go. I've made my own holes, but anyway, why that's not working, I've no idea. Put my punch to one side. That's clearly not good. We used it in the class and it was fine. Unless it got damaged there, I don't know. Oh well. These things are sent to try us, so we'll just shape that so it looks not too bad. There we go. It's not right, but it'll do for today because I'm just faffing around now. So the next stage is to cut some holes in this, because we've got to cut holes in the bits that where you need it to go through. And I just realised I haven't got my other piece of card stuck. Have I got a spare bit there? I must have a spare bit here that's about the right size. Yes, there we go. Because I do need a separate piece of card stock for the inside bit. That's this bit here. Hello, Emilu. Yes, try scrap paper. I know, I'm just going to try it in a minute, but I'll just want to get on with this. So we want this box section for here as well. So that's done as a separate section. And for that, I need a piece of card. And I'm just using the ordinary thick white here, not the edge of the card there. And that's going to be 2 inches by 6. So cut it at 2 first, or 5 centimetres or 2 inches. And by 6 inches or 15 centimetres, 15 and a tiny bit centimetres. There we go. And that is going to be scored at 3/4 of an inch. So again, I'm going to the far side to do it first. So 3/4 of an inch. Make sure I'm scoring, not cutting. Then I can turn it round to do 2 3/4 of an inch or 7 centimetres. Sorry, 3/4 of an inch is 2 centimetres. So 2, 7, and then 12 or 4 and 3.5. 3.5. Yes, sorry. Yes, because I've got another short bit to do. So 3.5 inches. So 2 3/4, 3.5 inches or 9 centimetres. And finally at 5.5 or 14 centimetres. Yeah, there we go. Right, so this one, I've got a slightly bigger tab and a slightly smaller tab at the end. It's fine. Just going to fold those quickly. Now, for both of these, we want to cut holes so that we've got somewhere for the Tombow to go through. Okay, so I have got templates. Because it can be quite difficult to use a punch, and I'm using punches here, or you could use die-cut circles. Die-cut circles, easier to put in the centre where you want it to be. I'm using punches, so to do that, I actually cut and then cut round to make a template. So I've cut out a 2x2 piece and made sure it was in the middle by using lines. I've done this in early espresso, which is stupid because you can't see my lines on it, but I basically drew 2 lines from corner to corner and then punched, made sure that where the lines crossed was in the center of my punch when I punched, so I know it's in the middle. So I've done that both for my 1 inch punch and my 1 1/4 inch punch. So my 1 1/4 inch punch, that's the hole I want to cut here. So to do that, I'm going to put my template on top of that panel that we've already covered in gorgeous paper. and then use a pen or a pencil just to draw around so I know where I need to punch. Because I'm drawing inside, I know if I get it right, I'm not going to have any pencil or pen left on the side. So I'll put it in sideways, actually, it's going to be easier. So now I can line up my circle to make sure it's right in the middle of my punch. Using my little drawing, punch that out, and there is my first hole. And then the smaller one I'm going to cut out of the panel, the same one of the big panel, doesn't matter which, on my smaller piece here. So again, draw around it, and this time I'm using the smaller one. Smaller because our tombos are tapered. So we want a smaller one to make sure it stands up properly in the box when you've made it. Punch that out. So I've got my punched holes. Those punches are working. I am just going to try this on a bit of, where's a scrap bit of card? Let's get a scrap bit here. Oh, I need to put it in, so I need a longer piece. Oh, to try this afterwards. I'll just slide this piece in and just see what this looks like. It doesn't want to come out easily. Now that has punched all right, so it must be the card. It must be the fact that it was thicker card. So it's not my punch. That's good to know. I did have some bits stuck in it, so it could have been that. It could have been my own fault for not making sure my punch was clean. But there we go. We know it's not the punch now. That's good. Get rid of that quick. Right. Got bits everywhere now. So don't lose my templates, because I'll use those again for making the next box. So to stick all these bits together, very simply, on this long bit, we're going to fold up these pieces and stick. We're going to have glue or tape on here. I'm going to use some tape. If I can find it. There we go. This is my tear and tape. So I'm going to put 2 little strips on because I want this to hold really steadily. So we'll put a couple of strips on there. 1 strip. And 2 strips. Oh, I tore that one a bit short. Never mind. So now it's very important. If we want this to be a fold flat box, because it does. Oh, I'm losing the end of my strip under the. I'm having a nightmare today. Bits everywhere. Right. I think I've tidied that up. So to fit this down, obviously if I try and do it this way, I might not got it exact and it might move a little bit. I don't want that. So how we're going to do it, we're going to fold the end under and then press it down so it's flat, because this is the fold flat bit of the box. So we want to make sure it will fold flat. Okay, so I've just folded those 2 bits up and stuck it like that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I know this is now square, which is great. So that's my base stuck together. And then for the inside, we're simply going to stick the 2 flaps together. So again, I'm going to use some tape, some tear and tape on here. Not so important that it's as strong, so I can just use the 1 piece. Oh, done that too long. But I am making such a mess today of all of my crafting. It's not good. Nearly tore the thing off. That's not good at all. So again, if I lie this flat, flatten down one side, fold it over, I know that that's square. Always worth doing. And then very simply, this just slides in and we can stick it down. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow on the side, the bottom and the other side. And then slide it in. Slide it in and stick it, make sure it's stuck down. Make sure it's going to fold flat. There we go. Make sure it folds flat both ways, which it does. There we go. So that is my fold flat box. Okay, and just to show you, it holds my Tombow. So I'm going to do a little bit of extra decoration. So I'm going to use a bigger punch again. This is my 1 3/4 inch punch. And I'm just going to punch a circle from the reverse of one of these other papers, because I think gold on gold's probably a bit much. But I did quite liked that sort of hatched pattern there. So I'm going to stick that. Oh, here's my Tombow. Stick that on the front of my box. And I could stick another one at the top if I wanted and add more decoration there. It's up to you how much decoration you put on. But I just wanted to, I've cut these out. These letter C's for me, obviously. These are cut out of gold foil, and I stuck an adhesive sheet on the back. So I can just very simply make sure it sticks straight down. I don't need to worry about putting little tiny bits of glue on there, which is just a nightmare, and that way lies madness. So it's much easier to use an adhesive sheet. So there is my C on my box, and it fits my Tombow beautifully. So really useful to have on the desk. Plus they fold flat, so that if you wanted to fold flat that way, they're even smaller. So if you wanted to put them in a travel case or a craft case to take away, then obviously you can just do that. So I'll leave my Tombow there because I'm going to use it. And I thought I'd make a final one just for fun out of some red in there, just to show you again, because I don't think I shared those measurements terribly well the first time. Let me try it again. So we want our piece, this is just a strip cut off. I'm going to make the back perhaps leave it about that size. That's probably about right. So that's 11 3/4 inches or 30 centimetres. Oh, I have cut that. I didn't think I had done. So now we do the scoring, and that is at 1 centimetre. What am I talking about? 1/2 inch or 1 1/4 centimetres. I'm going to turn it round and go to 2 1/2 inches or 6 1/2 centimetres. At 4 1/2, which is 11 1/2 centimetres, and at 6 1/2, which is 16 1/2 centimetres. So again, we've got the 4 different. We'll see if it cuts this, because this is just real red card, so it should cut it fine. We'll see. And I'll do something different with the. I've already cut that. Right. What I haven't got is my other bit of real red. Really, I'm not ready today. Let me just nip and get the other bit of real red. You think Emma Louise, you think you'll know what you'll be making today for your pen pals? Absolutely, why not? It's a great gift for crafters to send. So yes, why not? Just getting a bit of my getting just a strip of my real red. This is just a strip I'd had cut off something else. And this bit needs to be 6 inches by 2 inches or 15 centimetres by 5 centimetres, whichever way you want to do it. And we're scoring that. Well, I've got this out at 3/4 inch or 2 centimetres, at 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimetres, at 3 1/2 or 9 centimetres, and finally at 5 1/2 or 14 centimetres. Okay, so as before, part as before. Now I need to get this the right way around. These hearts need to be that way up because these are directional. If they're directional, then make sure that you have them facing towards the short end when you stick them on, because then they'll be pointing in the right direction. With my flowers, it didn't matter because, you know, they point any which way. It doesn't really matter about flowers, but hearts, they need to be the right way up. So I need them to be facing that way. And this bottom one, I need to make sure I put glue everywhere on it. This one, not so important. It can just be around the edge, because that's the front, if you like, of our box. Oh, everything's sliding around. I'm really not doing very well today. And I've got glue all over the desk. Oh, what can I say? It's one of those days. Oh, thanks, Anne. Brilliant, you say. fabulous. They are pretty boxes, and you could obviously make these not necessarily always for Tombow. I'll put that back in its holder, or you could just make it for, you know, for a sweet or for, I don't know, whatever else you wanted to do. It doesn't really matter. They could be for any sort of gift. You can make these, you cut the shapes differently through the middle. Now I did have my templates. There we go. So templates, we want the bigger circle cut out of the longer piece. So again, just draw my circles. And on this piece, which I'm not obviously bothering, because I don't need to, bothering with any paper on it because it's inside, so I don't need any decoration on it. So those are my templates to punch out my circles. So let's hope these all work this time. There we go. On there. And my 1 1/4 inch. As I say, you can use die cuts to do this if you prefer, if you don't have the punches. I actually love my punches. I wouldn't be without punches. That's why I've got these, because I keep them forever. Right, so there's my bits for this. Now I said I'm going to do the back differently, which I am. Let me just fold these to get them ready. Oh, my piece is a little bit long, so let me just trim it. Either I didn't measure my pieces very well, or I haven't measured my box very well. We'll see. No, I've measured my box all right, so it's obviously my piece of DSP. So this time I am actually going to do my end punch before I stick any decoration on it, because I know that this will go through, because it's just one piece of normal cardstock, which it does. Look at it, there we go. Now we've got proper punch on there. Phew. So that worked all right. So this time I'm just going to change this round. So I'm going to cut this piece to about there. So I'm going to mark it with a pen. So I'm going to have it there actually. So I'm just going to mark with a pencil where I need to trim it. This is crafting on the run. This wasn't planned because I wasn't sure it's going to work like that. Never mind. Love the red. Yes, Margaret, this is real red. It's one of the two of my favourite reds. I love real red, and I also love cherry cobbler, which is a slightly duskier red. So I've cut this so that it's just long enough to meet the pattern up there, and then I'm actually going to curve the bottom, or curve the edge of it, and I'm going to use this circle. Can I use this one? No, I need a bigger punch. I'll show you how to do this with a punch, because there we go, 2 inches. So if you want to curve it with a punch, obviously if I push the whole thing into the punch, it's going to cut a circle. I don't want that, but I do want a sort of circular top to it. So what I can do is slide my paper in. It's very fiddly, but it works, believe me. So I can slide it in from the, it's not going to go in. It's not going to go in today because that's how everything is today, isn't it? I'm just trying to slide it in. Come on, help me out here, paper, go through. Do you know what? I don't think it's necessarily going to do that. So what I'm going to do, this is always have a backup. So I'm going to use my circle. This is the slightly smaller circle because it's going on the front. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to use it just to give me an outline of where I need to cut for a curve. Okay, change my mind here. You can actually slide things into punches, but it can be a bit fiddly. Probably needed to use an even bigger punch, actually. So I'm just going to use this as a bit of a guide. Cut around there. There. See? So I can put it so that it still fits on here, but it isn't just a sort of broken corner. It's a nice little curve around. This is just, now is it the right length? Have I cut it the right length? Yes, I did cut it. I couldn't remember if I trimmed the length, but I did. So I can stick this on now. Making sure I stick it to the correct side, which is this side. the reverse side, as we said, because of how the box goes together. So now I can stick that on, which just then curves around at the top there, which is nice. And I just make up the box as before. So I'm going to put some tape on there. I have 2 bits. Guess better with that one. Take the back off the tape. Fold it under, and with the thing flat, press down so that I know it's going to fold flat. Yeah, that just makes sure, as I said, that this piece remains completely square, which is what we want. So that's my first bit. I need to make up this bit. So again, I'm just going to put, I think I'll use tape again, just put some tape across this piece. Make up this box. There we go. Glue on the side. So you can see they're really quite quick, especially if you're not having disasters like me today. Without disasters, they're even quicker. And there we go. So I'm just going to put this inside my stand and I don't drop it all. Put that inside and stick it down to the bottom and to the front and the back. Check it still folds flat, which it does. I need to trim that piece of DSP a little bit. Oh, it actually pulled off the lid there. Never mind. I am having a disaster today. We'll be fine. There we go. Oh, yes. And then I've got my circle. For this one, I've just cut or punched an ordinary basic white card circle because it matches the hearts. So we'll have a nice circle on there. And again, I've got my C with my adhesive backed gold foil. You have to put the adhesive sheets on the gold foil. It doesn't come with them. But our gold foil is so beautiful. There we go. There, another one. So, despite the dreadful problems with that, sorry about that. I'm glad you've liked it. I'm glad you've liked it as a project. So there's, if I lie them down, you see them better. There's all 3 of mine. So they're all completely different. They're all slightly different sizes. That's fine. It depends how big you want the back to be. This one I decided not to have it quite so long because I had to trim it after our punch disaster. This one's got a taller back. So, you know, fiddle with the length of the card will give you different sizes there. But I love the fact that we've got the smaller hole in the bottom because it really does keep the tombow upright. I love the fact that they fold flat, so I can put them in my craft bag for taking around places if I'm going crafting somewhere else. That's always useful. And I love the fact we can personalise them by putting initials on or whatever. So this one, just to recap, this was just made out of thick basic white, and I cut circles to decorate it. These ones I've covered with paper, and you can see the different looks they give you depending on which paper you use and which colour cardstock you use. So I think I better stop there before anything else goes wrong. I'm just wondering if today's a good day to go and unpack my box, which has just arrived from Stampin' Up, or not, because things are going wrong. So that doesn't sound good, but I hope you enjoyed that. Let me just bring myself back so you're not talking to the desk, you're talking to me. Yeah, there we go. So sorry about the mess up in the middle. Yeah, I've now learnt that don't be stupid enough to use very thick card and then add DSP on top and expect the punches to work, because it clearly didn't, although my punch is okay, thank goodness. So you don't need to send commiseration cards or anything. Oh dear. Yes, I'm delighted. Thanks, Emma Lou. I'm really glad that you've liked it. Thanks, Anne. You say lovely. Margaret, thank you, Karen. Looking forward to meeting you in person, Margaret, because you're coming to our next Craft and Chat in May, which would be lovely to see you. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, I will be showing you what's arrived in my books on Thursday on my Zoom call. It's at 10:30 in the morning. The Zoom link is on the website under the Craftalong tab, so you can find it there. Or if you've had my emails, it's actually an email. So hopefully I will see you, some of you, on Thursday. If not, I will see you back next week on Tuesday for another live that hopefully won't be quite so messy as this one. I'll be a bit more organised, but who knows, possibly not. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.